And here we go. Let's crack those beers, boys. Like
Way
they owe
ahead of you.
us money. They owe me money. I tell you what. God, that goes hard.
It really does go hard.
Love that shit.
I'm not sure if I should be like preparing to fight a rival Japanese gang, or I should just be like slicing people with a sword.
No, it's like a dragon named Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Gilgamesh.
He's like
Oh man.
black and red.
That takes me back. Gilgamesh was such a gross beer.
That was disgusting.
Quite possibly one of the worst beers I've ever had, but I drank it because it was 12%.
Yeah. Well, I told you the story of the rep that came into the bar, and I
No.
told him it smelled like piss.
Yeah.
And he was very upset.
Oh, so he had like a Gilgamesh shirt on.
No,
and, like,
yeah. He like came by and he's like, "Do you
How's
guys
the
want a taste
Gilgamesh
test?"
doing for you, buddy?
Yeah. He's like, "Do you want a taste?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so he gave it was like 6 of us, and he gave us all like a pint. And the first sip I took, I was like,
Just
that-
hands on his hips, like taking a step
Yeah.
back, waiting for your response. Like, well, how
yeah.
is it?
I'm the first one to answer. I'm like, "That tastes like piss." And he's like, "Oh." And I don't know what like weird kooky flavor, like fucking tea IPA it was or whatever, but it was awful.
Yeah.
And then you got me into the Douglas Ferocious or whatever.
Oh
the hell.
my god, dude!
That was
If you drank a 6-pack of those really quickly while playing Fallout 4, it was pretty cool.
it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're 22 and you like
Yeah.
you had no hangover, you know.
Oh no, I had
brain.
hangovers. I just kept drinking.
God, I
Yeah.
can't imagine how bad I would feel for a week.
If
after that.
you and I both just slammed a Gilgamesh 6-pack each, we'd probably not be able to move
No.
for like another 2 days.
Yeah, and I have kids. I would literally be like so anxious and be like, "Oh, I have to take them to school in 2 days."
Yeah, exactly. It's 2 days from now. I can't handle
Yeah, I
it.
have to get up at 6:30 in the morning and like
Yeah.
get his fucking shoes
It's
on.
crazy how anxious you get from being hungover.
Yeah, and it's awful. That's the worst part, honestly. Or just feeling like awkward. You just feel weird. you
I mean,
know?
I'm used to feeling awkward because I'm an awkward person.
yeah.
What I don't like is the sense of impending doom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
I get-
that's
yeah.
that's the thing that I hate. I don't mind feeling. I'm always awkward, but I
Yeah.
just rock with it.
Yeah, I haven't been that hungover that many times in the last like 3 years, but there's been like 2 where I was like driving home. It's like 5 o'clock the day after.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn, I'm still
I
hungover.
still feel hungover,
There's
yeah.
nothing helping this. I
Yeah.
had 2 meals.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, the only thing that fixes it is sleep and
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
So if you can if you can lay in your bed and not have to leave the house for 2 days,
Yeah.
you're fine.
yeah. And I feel like an absolute piece of shit doing that. So
Yeah.
that's a no go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
How many animals do you think die overnight in a pet store?
What kind?
Just
Or
all the-
collectively?
Well, you get to the pet store at 7
Petco.
a.m.
Let's say Petco.
Yeah, you get to Petco at 7 a.m. How many dead animals are there?
And you're like, okay, you have the new start. You're the manager, and you're like,
yeah.
okay, so this is what we do at 6 a.m. We go to that closet. There's the dustpan that has the little picture of the dead rat on it. So,
I don't know who put that on there. That was kind of weird.
well,
Weird
it
choice.
helps with the identification.
Yeah, you don't want the live bunny broom.
Right. That one's for the alive bunnies where you corral them back into the cage.
Yeah,
The dead bunny is yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't know. I would say like probably at least 25
25.
collective animals.
You know,
You got
that's
like
kinda,
fish. You got
Oh, I didn't even think about the fish.
there's tons of
You're
fish
right.
that just die all the time.
Fuck. That's way more. Okay.
People will buy a fish and the kid is like, "Mom, I want that one. It's
Bro.
orange." And then like on the ride home,
Yeah.
it dies.
Yeah. Like, I bet it's so common the next day it's gone.
Yeah.
And the kid's like,
Fish are fragile as shit. They have to swim to breathe.
well, and then
They're stupid.
you don't get, I mean, at least I didn't. I won one at the fair one time at my school, and I brought it home, and they're like, put it in different water. And I'm like, I'm not testing the pH of this water.
Yeah, you get the alkalinity strips.
Yeah. Mine lasted longer than my sister's did, but only by 2 days.
Dude, I went into a customer's house today, so I explained to him the product, and he was like, "Yeah, come on in." And he's like, "Hold on, let me put the dogs away." 5 minutes into me signing him up, he's like, "Okay, do you mind if I bring the dogs in?" And immediately I was
God.
kind of like, in my head, I was like, "Well,
How many
if you
dogs?
have to put them out for me to go in, maybe don't bring them in.
Yeah,
But I
keep
was
'em out.
but I was like, no, dude, I love dogs. He's like, oh, good, you love dogs? Okay, great. And he's like, Bunny or whatever its fucking name was. He's opened the sliding door, and the dog immediately starts sprinting and barking at my direction. Lunges, jumps onto the couch, and he's like, he's so friendly. And I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't lunging at me to attack me. It was lunging
Yeah.
at me to kiss me and do that thing where it's like it's a
Yeah.
big dog, but it's still like trying to cuddle. But it was barking and kissing me at the same time.
Yeah,
And then at a certain point it chilled out and sat down, but it scared the shit out of me.
yeah, I hate that. I hate being almost captive in somene's house.
Yeah.
with
Well,
their
especially when
animal.
you're trying to sell something, because it's
Yeah.
like you'll just be like, you have to be a yes man at that point.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, do you mind if I like fart in the hallway? You'd have to be like, yeah, of course. I don't mind at all. I love that.
Bro, I'm so glad my grandma doesn't listen to this. But so I've been cleaning her house for money lately, like the last few months, and
Yeah.
grandma's just ripping.
Yeah.
She is ripping the.
Yeah.
I'm like, I almost asked her last time I was there, like 2 days ago. I was like, "Are you feeling those coming out? Because it's just sliding."
Is she hearing them come out?
I don't know. I don't know if she's feeling or hearing it, but it's just going.
That might be part of the thing, is that like she just doesn't know that it's happening, and so
Yeah.
the body is just letting loose.
She's one of these chug coffee in the morning people too.
Me too.
Just like
Me too.
a pot of coffee is her mortal enemy. Apparently.
No, yeah, I wake up and I'll have like I'll try to do as big a swig of water as I can,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, all right, let's just bring on the coffee.
Yeah, so I get shamed for my lack of coffee drinking prowess apparently in her house. I try to drink
Prowess?
some. I tried to drink some before I get there, right?
What is there a technique? She's like, you have to do the pinky
no.
out. You're like,
Bro.
shut up, grandma.
No, so I try to drink some before I get there. I get there, and then she's like, "Oh, you put some ice in your hot coffee?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to drink it now. I don't want to have to wait to drink my coffee."
What
And
is
I
up
drink-
with that? Is such an old person cliche. It's the have you ever seen Twin Peaks?
Yeah,
Agent Cooper, he's like, I need my coffee hot.
Yeah.
Extra hot. Black.
I don't understand.
It's such an old person
me
thing to be
drink
like, iced coffee? What is this, 2024?
No,
and
and I'm
it's like,
putting-
it is actually.
yeah. No,
it is 2024.
It is the current year,
And you can drink coffee with ice now.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
what I do is I only put 2 ice
The
cubes
Allies
in it.
won, Grandma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we won the war. And she's
Yeah.
like, damn it, fuck. But I put 2 ice cubes in my coffee to just cool it down. It's not like I'm making a nice coffee
Right.
and being a psycho for her. And then I drink like half of it, and she's like, "You didn't drink any," and I'm like, "Why is it your problem that I'm not like annihilating a pot of coffee?"
That's
right
the
here?
same thing as the.
Do you want me to shit here?
That's the same thing as the frat bro that's like, you got to chug it right
Yeah.
now. You got to do a shot
Yeah.
right now. And he's like,
You ever
didn't-
shotgun a beer?
You didn't even finish your beer all the way. There's still a little bit of spittle at the bottom. And it's like, what the
You
fuck,
want
Grandma?
your backwash?
That dude, that's a skit for you.
Yeah.
A Chad grandma. That's like, you got to slam that PBR before you go to work, bitch.
Yeah.
And you're just
Yeah.
like,
Grandma,
my liver hurts, grandma. She's like, don't be a pussy.
I drank through the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's legitimately how my grandma is about coffee, and
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't. I think it's because she just doesn't drink as much alcohol. She has
That's
only
her thing.
1 bottle of wine a day now, so it's like, yeah, it's her-
Only one bottle of wine a day.
yeah. It's
That's pretty decent. I mean, in terms of consumption, that's actually up there.
she likes whiskey. Or like,
Oh,
like
so
Scotch.
she doesn't do scotch anymore. She does whiskey or wine.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's a whole thing.
She's like, I don't even drink anymore. Just drinks a bottle of wine a day.
Yeah,
So
I,
rock
I
and
bet the
roll.
neighbors think it's hilarious because like
The recycling bin is just teeming with bottles.
Dude, no. So her whole condo complex is old people, like people over 70.
Dope.
And I get there on recycling day, and every time I get there, I'm like counting. I'm like, bro, that person drank 11 bottles of wine this week.
Bro,
Like
if-
these are not the same
the
bottles of
thing
wine
is,
from last
so
week.
like the only thing that keeps people from being savages is like having a job and like
Yeah,
needing to like live in
clearly.
society. But if you didn't need to, people would be alcoholic murderers.
Oh, yeah.
like for sure, and like just breaking law. It'd be the purge all the
Yeah.
time if there wasn't like some kind of civility in place.
Yeah.
and that's what jobs are. That's what the economy is.
Mhm. It's wild to me because they're drinking wine, like
Yeah.
principally, but I'm like, just drink like a bottle of vodka at this point. Like you guys are consuming so much pure alcohol out
Mm-hmm.
of these bottles. Just go for it. Like you see
Yeah,
like
I mean,
one bottle
whatever.
of hard liquor throughout their bin.
Yeah, I'm not
But
a big liquor guy, anyways.
I was in Scotland and I so they're known for their whiskey. Obviously, it's like
Yep.
the place for whiskey.
Yep.
And I had some whiskey.
The
but
what's it called? The Belvini or whatever.
Yeah,
Balvini, some shit
yeah.
like that. It's really good.
But like for the most part, if you went to a grocery store, they have Jack Daniels. Every single place I found.
That was me in Ireland. They had a Budweiser everywhere.
Yeah, no, they had Budweiser.
Yeah, and they're like, oh,
Modelo.
it's American, and it's like, yeah, but that's not exotic. That's
No, I think they like American
They do.
alcohol.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
Clearly, because everywhere I went, like I went,
JD is I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
both Budweiser and JD are I.
yeah.
Honestly,
what was
so
the
is
other one?
Guinness. Guinness is definitely
Oh,
aight.
so I had a Guinness like day one because I was like, everyone says you got to go to the source or whatever. you
Have
know?
it on tap. It is better. I'll give him that. It takes like fucking 10 hours to pour.
Dude. So the guy, and he was like a stereotypical British 50-year-old, bald,
Yeah.
bigger guy.
Yeah.
He's
He's calling a kid a cunt because they didn't like kick the soccer
Exactly.
ball correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He hasn't played soccer in 38 years. And
Not since the Troubles.
exactly. Yeah. He had an experience
When his brother car bombed someone.
So he
Fucking
like starts
Christ.
pouring me this Guinness, and then he like it's at the top, right? And then he walks over to like grab the card reader machine, and I like do my card, and then which is tap. It's always tap to pay, which is amazing. Like I wish here it would work.
Tap works for
It
me
seemed-
like everywhere
Really?
I go. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't know what you're
shit.
talking about.
Here, I don't know. But so I like tap my card. I grab the beer. He's like, "It's not done. It's not done, lad."
You have to let it rest.
And I was like, "What? What?" And he starts pouring more. And I'm like, "It's full." Like
Yeah,
it's
no.
American full.
Yeah.
Like there's like that like
No, they get
quarter
really,
inch.
yeah.
No, he's like, "There's not enough head." I'm like, "All right, fine."
Well, they also don't like they like it flatter
Yeah.
and fuller. In the States, we like a good head
Yeah. And then he
because it's a
pours
more
it.
enjoyable experience. You do
Yeah.
get less, but there's like this like
Yeah.
weird, not even that much less.
Well, the thing is, they have actual pints there.
Yeah, that's fair.
The overall, one beer in Scotland is definitely 4 ounces more than here.
Because an imperial pint is 16, and
Yeah.
then a normal pint is 12 in the States.
Yeah, I think it's yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think that's what it is.
definitely, I drink less overall because every time I got a beer, I was like, a fucking pint at noon. Okay,
Dude, on
well,
vacation though, who cares? you know?
Yeah, I don't drink that much on vacation. I just kind of like do a two drink a day type of thing.
Take in the sights.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to be like mildly fucked up, on the bus. So,
I guess to each their own. If
Yeah.
I'm on vacation, like I'm drinking light beer.
yeah.
I'm drinking light beer and I'm chilling.
Yeah.
That to me is the essence of vacation. Is just a little buzzed all the time.
Yeah.
and just chest hair out a little bit,
Mhm.
unbuttoned.
Yeah. I
the shit.
definitely did go a little more wild, I guess, on the last day. They had Chivas.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
that was fucking. What's his
Hunter
name?
S.
Not
Thompson's
Lamine.
favorite.
No, what's his name? That's like my mentor's mentor name. Fuck, what's his name? The guy back in college. Not Ronnie.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name, though. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy was really cool. But anyways, he drank a bunch of Chivas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool podcast content. Who was that fucking guy?
People
Anyways,
you don't know.
they little did they know they didn't know.
Yeah. But I had never had Chivas, and I was like, oh, and it was $4 for
Yeah.
like a glass. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, for some reason, I guess I know why whiskey is free there. So I was just like, the last day, like, okay, whatever. Anywhere I go, I'm just going to get whiskey that I'm like not used to in the States.
See, it's the other way around for me. What I would rather do is get fucked up on the front end of the trip because, like, you don't want to be hungover on the flight.
Yeah, no, this was the day before the last day. or
Oh,
something.
okay, that's smart then. Yeah.
Yeah, the last day I think I had like a beer and a whiskey, and that was it.
I will drink on flights though.
Same.
I'll spend like $30 on like 3 or 4 IPAs if it's a long flight.
Yeah, dude. So I was actually so pissed. So the scheduling for their like service on a 9.5-hour flight. Hour 1, beer. I had a beer. And I was like, sick, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then hour 2, they brought coffee. I'm like, okay, got it. Coffee. It was like hour 4, they brought dinner, which was fine. People complain about it. It's fine. It's whatever.
Whatever.
Dude, for the next 4 hours, they didn't do anything.
Just
They,
hit
like,
that
gave us,
attendant
like-
button, bro.
I think they didn't. It was Aer Lingus. They don't give a fuck.
We don't know what a fucking Aer Lingus button
They
is.
ran out of cups.
Yeah, they ran out of cups. We
They
can't
had some
possibly
paper
pour.
cups.
It's not done, laddie.
No, seriously though, but like they didn't give a fuck that like all of us were just like we ate dinner and then they're like, yeah, no more drinks, no more fucking drinks.
I'm pretty certain that you could have.
I could have flagged them
You
down.
could have arranged
I
it.
did see these. So I was sitting next to these like Germans, and they looked like the stereotypical like.
Dude, traveling
Dusseldorf
Germans are the worst.
They're the fucking worst.
They're the fucking worst. What's worse, the Chinese or the Germans?
oh, the Germans. 100%.
Really? Because they both do a similar thing where they travel in packs. They're really loud. They don't assimilate, and they're just awful to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know. The Germans smell.
The Germans they have a funk to them because they're big cheese bread eating,
Yeah.
beer drinking people that
Yeah.
don't like properly. They don't use air conditioning and they don't
No.
use deodorant. Like the Germans kind of suck in that regard
Yeah. So we went on a tour
because they're
and
like it's bad for the environment. So we're
Dude.
just not going to use air conditioning.
put the aluminum in your deodorant, or else
Do it.
do it.
Do it.
I'd rather.
And
I'd
also
rather die.
on public transportation, have air conditioning.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
smell Hans's fucking odor.
Yeah, Christoph Lux's. That
Yeah.
was the guy's name next to me.
There you go.
I saw his phone.
He saw his ticket.
Dude,
His
he was
e-ticket.
such a fucking idiot.
You
No,
talked to him?
but no, I try not to. I try not to talk. If I have a seatmate, unless they're like really cool looking, like this guy looked like a fucking dweeb, and he watched Mad Max Fury Road, and then he watched Furiosa,
Yeah.
and then he watched like some other fucking movie, and I was like, well, at least he's keeping to himself, you know.
Yeah, there's no problem with that.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were on a tour, and it was like half Americans, like people from South Carolina. There was another couple
South
from like
Carolina.
Seattle.
Imagine if the Hawk Tua girl was on
Oh
there.
my fucking god.
She's like, "Wow, I could Hawk Tua all over these wonderful 17th.
This castle wasn't really what I expected. I thought there'd be a lot more men.
I have a nose that's punchable.
She does.
Yeah.
But so we're on a tour, and like the only people that are like they want to like cozy up to us apparently was this German couple from Dusseldorf, and they fucking stunk. They
Oh, you
just-
can't buddy with the stinkies.
Bro, it's like every time we stopped on our tour, they would be right next to me, and they fucking stunk.
Yeah.
There's BO.
Yeah.
And I'm like, get away from me.
Yeah.
And then this dude from Belgium also was next to me most of the time, and he stunk. I'm like, what the fuck is up with these Europeans?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Use deodorant.
Put the chemicals in the deodorant. I don't
Yeah.
care if you get a lymph node at 70 in there. You're saving my sanity.
Yeah. It was only honestly, I learned in this trip, because my first trip to Europe,
Oh,
the
really?
Europeans are the worst.
Yeah, Europeans suck.
Italians, number one enemy. Okay,
Italians are bad.
Hate them. They
Italians
were
are bad.
super rude to L.
Well, they're pretentious.
So
Italian pretension knows no
sexist,
bounds.
fucking creeps.
Yeah.
Every last one of them.
Oh yeah.
Germans, they kept to themselves, but they stunk.
Germans ultimately look. The thing about Germans are like they're dorky,
Yeah.
and they can have the outward character appearing rude, but
Yeah.
in reality they're not rude. They're kind of just loud and blunt, but
Yeah.
they're actually really good people.
They seem to congregate near each other too. Like there's a bunch
yeah,
of
yeah,
Germans
yeah,
on our
yeah.
plane.
They travel in packs.
And they all like they didn't know each other, but
Yeah.
clearly they were like, "Oh, you're German too, you okay?" Da da da.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
all like were drinking wine together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know how they were like they were the ones going to the back of the plane and like asking the stewardesses for alcohol.
I'd be doing the same thing.
And I was like,
see, that's
man,
what I was
maybe
saying.
that's
Just
the-
5 seconds ago, I was
That's
like, you could
true.
do it.
I was like,
But
maybe that's
then
the
again,
route.
I am German, so
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm English, so
Yeah.
I went.
That
actually,
explains the self-hatred angle.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
Although
went,
you are Romanian too.
yeah, it's mostly
I met a really cool Romanian family the other day.
yeah. Were they stealing copper wire?
No, they were just really friendly. Within
Yeah.
2 seconds of me explaining the service, the guy was like, "Oh, it's about time. I
Oh.
wanted that."
Wow.
And I was like, "Okay, cool." And he's
Shit.
like, "Yeah, let me get my mom out here." And I was like,
Oh.
"All right." And so we just like talked and
Yeah.
got him set up.
It's a hospitable people, but no. So on the end of our tour, I was at a castle, and they're like, "We have a surname Google search thingy," and I was like, "Yeah, fine," because my name Ragsdale is like the most English name ever, and I was like, "They're like, we'll find any Scottish ancestry." I'm like, "All right." So I go up there, and they're like, "You are the most English person I've ever seen." we found where you are from, and it's you're not Scottish, buddy. And I was like, damn it. Like,
Did they get antagonistic from that point on?
no, I left immediately. They were like, do you want to buy like a fucking scroll with your seal on it? Because I have like a coat of arms and
Oh.
shit. Yeah. And I was like, no.
Like a writ
Yeah.
or whatever you call that
Yeah,
shit?
it was kind of cool, but like I saw someone in front of me buy it because they were like full Scottish, and I was like, I'm the colonizer here. Like,
man.
I'm not welcome. And also, the English people there were cool. Like the people clearly from like London or Brighton
Yeah.
or Bath or whatever, they were neat, but they were also like kind of assholes.
Yeah.
They definitely had a personality of like, we are here because we're better.
Sure.
You know, like we conquered this area even though we're 17. whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of most Italian cultures, to be honest. But what I do like is the reason I like America is because it adds a layer of nuance. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't really like Italians, but Italian Americans, kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Well, the water gets muddied here. And it's nice.
Exactly.
You know, you don't.
We all
get-
kind of get that beige overtone where it's
Yeah.
like we all kind of melt
we
together.
share. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice because clearly every fucking time that we interacted with a mainlander European, it was a bad time. Honestly, it was weird. I was like,
There's
I
just
thought they were
this-
cool.
No, well, they are, but they don't. You have to play ball.
Yeah,
If you kiss their ass, then they'll be like, "You're not so bad after all. You're not a
Yeah.
very stupid American,
Yeah.
are you?" And it's
I
like,
d-
if you don't and you question it, then they're like,
yeah. I didn't have the time to like
Yeah.
interact long. The Scottish people were great,
"Yeah."
other than the touristy areas because they were just
The further I got away from Dublin, the more I enjoyed Ireland.
Yeah,
I wish I had done more exploration. I basically just stayed in the greater Dublin area.
yeah. Well, we were close to Edinburgh, but like Edinburgh is so touristy that people are just kind of like mean, you know? They're
Yeah,
just, like,
no, I mean,
get you through.
it-
Glasgow was the opposite. It was like everyone was dope. Like we got Uber drivers
Yeah.
that were. We literally had an Uber driver that gave us a tour of the city on our way to our destination.
That's dope.
He was just like, "Oh, and here is this, historical
Was
setting."
Edinburgh the capital?
Yeah, Edinburgh's the capital, but Glasgow's the biggest city. So
Okay.
Edinburgh is like just an old ass city that they just kind of like keep going in
Yeah.
a weird touristy way, and it's cool and all, but like, and
It's kind of like the Rolling Stones.
yeah. And I mean, honestly, it's the most incredible city I've ever been to in my life, and
Yeah.
I could ever imagine, to be honest. Like the architecture is incredible, but it didn't have like that kind of like dirty like metropolitan feel that like Glasgow had. Glasgow felt like Portland. It was like
It's funny you say that because Dublin to me felt like it felt very much not like Ireland.
Yeah.
Because when you get those big metropolitan cities, it's just like any other metropolitan city.
Yeah, Glasgow definitely. It did feel like one of those like anywhere it could be. Like it could be literally in the U.S. But then like all of a sudden you see a cathedral from 1200, and you're like, oh, okay, this
That
is
kind of
different.
sticks out. Yeah.
Yeah, this is yeah. It also, none of the cities had a skyline like other than like the cathedral. Like I went up to this place called the Necropolis. It's next to the cathedral.
Dope.
And I was like, and it's like a hill basically with all these graves. And you look out and you're like, oh, there's like no tall buildings.
Yeah.
Like there's buildings that are like, I don't know, maybe less than 15 stories.
Exactly. Yeah. No. When I flew into Ireland, I was like, so where's the cities?
Yeah.
And it's just like a big green fucking like
Dude.
plot of land with like white stone, and you're like, are those houses or is that rock?
Yeah. We flew over Ireland and landed there obviously.
Yeah.
And then flew over Northern Ireland, and I was like, this is literally like a potato paradise.
Yeah.
This is heaven for
It
people
is.
that love flat fields.
Yeah.
You know? Like
It is.
And also, why the fuck didn't they keep that land? Why didn't the
I
English
know.
keep it? Cuz it's right there. You barely cross water to get to Ireland.
Yeah.
And you're like, they only kept a quarter of it?
Yeah.
It just take the rest.
I
It's
think
wonderful. It's
it-
a great place.
It's dude.
They use the euro though.
My
Weaker currency.
thing is that when I was in Ireland is I kept being like I kept trying to have political conversations about Northern Ireland, and
Yeah.
every time I did, they were like, "Shut the fuck up."
Oh.
So there's still that layer of like, careful
Yeah.
what you say, but I don't know. I feel like in America we're not so much pussies about cultural problems like that.
No, I think we overshare here and we're
Exactly.
like get into politics immediately.
I think that's you know what? You just pointed out the exact problem.
Yeah.
But because of that, it's not so much a problem, and having open discourse can be a good thing.
Yeah.
But constantly having it is a bad thing.
Yeah, on our plane ride back, we were in Edinburgh airport, and this tall, like older guy, was talking to this very old lady about UK politics, and he's like, I'll give the Labour Party a few more years to figure things out because the Tories really, left us in a state.
The what has?
The Tories, the Conservative Party,
Oh.
left them in a. They had this austerity measure where they like kind of pulled back social services. In
It's
the
interesting because the American mind, I have a hard time comprehending super multi-faction politics.
Well,
because
in
they're
the
like,
UK
we
it's-
have the Green Party, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, that's not getting anything
Yeah,
done.
the UK is very similar actually to here in terms of their like conservative versus liberal
Yeah, red
party.
versus blue,
Although everything is just skewed way left. Like
Yeah, well, same here.
Conservatives there are much farther left than Democrats here.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like they want to fund the health care. They
right.
want
Well, they
free
have
health-
it.
Yeah, which was nice to like be there and be like not worried.
Yeah, you're like, I
Yeah.
could actually be taken care of if anything goes
Yeah.
wrong. It is kind of crazy.
Yeah, but also the food was so much better that I wasn't afraid of like getting sick or like
Really?
getting food poisoning or like
I always had a separate experience. I think because like I'm such a Mexican food guy. Like I have Mexican
Oh,
food
yeah.
probably maybe half my meals.
yeah.
That it's like when I leave the States, I'm like, there's no Mexican food.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
That's the only fast food we didn't get over there was Taco Bell because it was just kind of harder to find. But we had McDonald's.
Yeah.
And if you ask for ketchup, they look at you so fucking weird because apparently like it says ketchup on the bottle in like half the places we went.
Yeah.
But they're like, you mean tomato sauce?
Oh.
Like, yeah, okay. And then there's only 4 ingredients. It's like tomatoes, sugar, salt, and like one other thing.
Yeah.
And it tastes better objectively. We brought some home.
Of course.
Dude, we smuggled so much food. They asked Elle to declare like her, like, oh, do you have any pastries? And she's like, yeah, I got a shit ton.
Do you mean the tomato sauce?
We brought an entire suitcase of food. And
Jesus
I
Christ.
guess they just didn't give a fuck. They didn't care at all. In customs, we got to Edinburgh, and there was like a whole customs like security area when you show up. Like you grab your bags, and there's a customs area. We get there, no one's there.
How many bags did you have total? Because I'm already pissed before you answer.
Okay, so 2 backpacks and 4
Oh.
hard case luggages. So 6 plus
One of the hard cases was yours. The other 3 were hers, right?
yes.
I'm so fucking stupid. The other 3 was hers, wasn't it?
yeah, laddie. Yeah.
Here
So-
comes Austin Ragsdale coming down the lane with a trolley full of suitcases that aren't his.
Well,
How are you feeling today, sir? And you're just like,
tired.
fucking tired.
Yeah.
Would you like some fish and chips? No,
not again?
not again.
Dude, their fish was so funny because it'd be like you've seen English chips,
Yeah,
Like,
they're
the-
soggy,
the
covered
big-
in vinegar, and they suck.
I didn't have any of the vinegar ones.
I did.
honestly.
I had 'em.
I'm kind of glad at least.
All the chips that I had in Ireland were like, unless you had them like fresh and it was a sit-down restaurant, they were covered in salt and vinegar and they were floppy.
So we went to a lot of sit down though, so that's probably
That's
the
probably
thing.
why.
But the fish was always. It looks like they just got a piece of cod or haddock
Yeah.
and they just fried that whole fish.
Yeah.
Like it was huge.
No, the fish is fantastic.
It was
but
good.
The chips suck.
Yeah, we had
Well, they don't salt them either, do they?
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Like not even close. Like they just don't. That's the one
You're
thing
just
about
eating
their seasoning.
potato and
yeah,
oil.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said about the simplicity of the ingredients, where
Yeah.
it's just like you said with the you mean tomato sauce? Where
Yeah.
it's just they just pulverize a tomato with like
Yeah.
a sheep's leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just the
No,
bone
don't
of
don't
a sheep.
salt it. Just
Yeah, but objectively, their ketchup is better.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like being natural. But what time are we on?
We're about to hit 30. I'm thinking that we
Yeah,
chop
let's
this into 2.
Roll over to another.
Yeah,
yeah.
let's
Let's
do
do
it.
that. Well,
Right.
that was episode. I don't know.
I don't honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
But we'll just yep.